Hello and welcome to Currency Point, presented by me, Evan Lucas, for FP Markets. As always, please have a very good read through of the disclaimer on screen. Everything in this video is general in nature, none of which be relied upon as any form of personal advice. FP Markets does not know your personal scenario nor your personal financial goals, and therefore none of which be relied upon as any form of advice at all. It's just general in nature only. Don't know about you, but as an FX trader, I hate blackout week. It is really hard to make sure that you keep on structure and on strategy. Things wane, things do things outside of what they should do. You can see that clearly with comparing something like cable with what's going on with with euro dollar. They're all over the shot in terms of where it is. But you need to remember, look at the bigger picture, look at the bigger stream, and clearly the trend around the US dollar is still very strong and very robust. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But on Wednesday and Thursday, all of that will end. We will get a December FOMC meeting, the last one for the year. And historically, they can actually throw some curveballs. So just remember, that's part of your strategy. You need to be ready that if they do something slightly out of the norm, don't expect them to, but if they did, that you're ready for it. Now, the other thing that needs to be sort of alluded to is that we know from Fed talk over the last 3 to 4 weeks before the blackout started, is that J. Powell and co. are now saying that quantitative easing should probably be wound up faster, that inflation is no longer, in their word, transitory, it's no longer part of the whole part and parcel, and that the outlook for the economy is better. That's what we do know. So how they go about talking to you about that, how they tell the market is going to be interesting. It should all be thought about as being a known. Again, it could surprise. What would be surprising and what could see us under a little bit of pressure would be out of nowhere, all of them starting to give themselves a date around possible liftoff, particularly if it was in 2022. I know the market is forecasting that, but to have that almost confirmed by the Fed would be a really ramp up in hawkish rhetoric. Then also inflation, then instead of using transitory, they start saying it's structural, and that it's starting to get to a point where they need to really rein it in. That would be a surprise. That would also, again, put the cat amongst the pigeons, because the market would then be asking the question, how hot is the US economy and how much do they have to rein it in? And then finally, growth overheating. That would be a surprise too. It's not, but it is going at incredible levels, and that also comes into the whole thinking. So that's why at the moment I understand, particularly this Monday, going into blackout week we've just had, going into Wednesday, strange and undulating movements could happen in pairs particularly. So just keep an eye on it. I know it's different and I know it's there, but we just have to accept it and we have to be ready for it, because I think once December's FOMC happens and the rest of the week plays out, going into Christmas and into the New Year's, it'll get much quieter and much flatter. So this is probably your last week of real movement, of actually seeing anything exciting. On that note, thank you so much for watching this year. This will be my last video. I'll be back in 2022 and looking forward to what will be another interesting year.